Normal Megan, anaphylaxis Megan. So where the hell have I been, right? Wow, it's been months since I uploaded a video, and honestly, there's a whole slew of reasons for that. I have filmed a lot of videos over the past couple months, trying to explain what's going on, and I just never got around to uploading them. But I have some time right now because it is dead quiet in our office to film a little bit of an update and what has happened over the past couple months and what is going on with my face. So I took a break from not all social media, but mostly YouTube around the time that the whole Black Lives Matter events began to unfold. I don't even know how to describe my thought process, but I had been feeling leading up to that point in time this year that the things I was talking about and doing were just really irrelevant, and I don't know why. I think honestly it's because my YouTube channel since I started it has always been about TTC, pregnancy, postpartum, that kind of thing. That was just sort of my niche. That was where I felt comfortable and excited and passionate about producing videos and documenting my personal journey and sharing that with other people, because that was the content I liked to watch and still like to watch on YouTube. But then I got to this whole postpartum fitness thing I was doing, and I couldn't connect with the community on YouTube or even Instagram. And it got to the point where I was posting things because I genuinely wanted to share them, but I did not, how do I even explain this? I wanted to share it because I was excited and it's something I was doing and I wanted to document it and log it. But at the same time, I did not actually feel comfortable putting that in front of people's faces because who cares, you know? And maybe I was feeling that way because that's how I feel sometimes when I see the content I was putting out there on my feed. And it's sort of I didn't want to watch other people's journeys. I didn't want to compare myself to them. I did not want to feel ooh, I'm doing so much better, or more likely than not, oh my God, clearly I have a hell of a long way to go and I wish I was in their shoes. And I am so prone to not feeling satisfied. And I think a lot of women feel this way. I'm so prone to not being satisfied with my own progress and not feeling grateful or happy about where I am and what I'm doing and my own unique journey. And it was really affecting me negatively, so that anytime I had something good to share, I sort of felt why, who cares? What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get people to be happy for me. It's just weird. It's weird when it comes to body image, right? I don't need people to feel like they need to compare themselves to me. I don't need to hear people tell me, oh, you're doing such a good job. I don't know if I'm getting my point across. It felt so vain and so irrelevant. And then when the Black Lives Matter movement hit, it was sort of what the heck am I doing? This is not the time in life at this moment to be June results, look at my body. Who cares? Who cares? And I really do think though that this is all a product of the fact that I don't like following these types of channels. I don't like watching those types of movies. I was really all about it as I was gearing up to do it for myself because I wanted to see other people's success stories. I wanted to believe that I could follow that path, or, ooh, I'm going to do a lot better than that. Oh, I don't even want to say that, but you know, like, ooh, I can learn from channels and maybe improve upon them based off of the results I was seeing for other people. It's just not, it's not that easy. It's like our bodies, they're not the same. And I should have known that when it came to like the fertility journey and pregnancy and breastfeeding and postpartum. Like, I had such an easy journey to getting pregnant with all my kids. My pregnancies were so easy. I think between all my pregnancies, I only puked once. My issues were breastfeeding, which really didn't have to be that big of a deal, but it was for me. Okay, so that I acknowledge that I chose for it to be a difficult path because I wanted to have the experience of breastfeeding, right? So it affected me a lot. And postpartum mood disorders were a really, really hard one. And also postpartum weight gain while I breastfed, which again, I knew was a choice. I could have just quit breastfeeding if like the way my body looked was that impactful to me. Every woman's experience is different. Each pregnancy and postpartum a woman has is going to be different. Like, ask anyone. You know, it's like the first thing women say, oh, this was so, like, my first was so much harder than my second, or I didn't even realize, you know, with my third that I was going to go through this, and I had hyperemesis, or I ended up getting postpartum anxiety, and I was totally fine with the other ones, or like latch issues. It's such a minefield, you know, the physical aspect of motherhood and the transition and everything like that. I'm going to get to my eye in a minute, so just bear with me. But I guess because I've been an athlete my whole life, and prior to having kids, you know, I was young. I was in my 20s and early 30s, and like everything always followed a pattern. As long as I did ABC, I could expect XYZ. And I'm finding that in my 36, soon to be 37-year-old, like, second time mom postpartum body, even though I'm 18 months postpartum, mind you, things just are taking their own time and they're going at their own pace. I was super, super proud of everything I accomplished, especially in light of COVID. Like, thank God I at least got 2 solid months of getting into the gym and doing diet and doing workouts, and I got that ball rolling and I was seeing results. Like, thank God I had that time before COVID hit, because if it had hit any sooner, I can't tell you guys where I'd be right now in between my postpartum mood and mentality as well as my physical well-being, because I don't know if I would have been able to actually get into it if I had started out during COVID. But then the COVID thing hit, and I wanted so badly to stay accountable to my channel and this thing I was trying out here with my weekly and monthly videos and things like that. And so literally March and April and May, March and April, like those 2 months, they were like, everything I did was just to not let myself down because I was holding myself accountable on social media. And I man, those were just some hard times. So those are some mentally hard times, trying to figure everything out and stay up to speed with results and everything. And looking back now, it's why my diet suffered. It's why all these things I wanted to do, like the apple cider vinegar and intermittent fasting, and it all fell to the wayside because I was mentally, like as all of us were, just being pressure cooked because of COVID and all these changes to our life and lifestyle and not having access to the gym or this and that. And I've got now, both my kids are home from school and I'm trying to work at the same time. And looking back now, of course it was too much. It was too much. But I stayed with it and I was able to maintain or steadily get my results. May was an awesome month. I think it was May. Was it May? Where the weather had gotten better, and I didn't I didn't work out at all because we were so busy with projects on the farm and at the house, and I was doing like functional workouts. But then when it came to June, I flatlined and I didn't post a June results video. Or was it that I didn't post a May results? I don't even remember the last time I posted anything. But I know like my progress flatlined, and then at the end of some month, I want to say it was at the end of June, but we're in July now, so maybe it was the end of May actually. I had gone up a couple centimeters on my hips. I never ended up weighing myself. I sort of knew I had kind of gained a little bit more because of the way my clothes were fitting and stuff like that. But I stopped and I said, you know what? This is not the time or the space in my life that I want to be putting these kinds of like, oh, you know, woe is me type video when there's so many more profound social things going on in social media. It just felt really disrespectful and poor timing. And I decided to cut myself some slack and say, you know what? It has been a crazy year, right? Like crazy year. And so I stopped. I slowed down and I went back to the basics, which is walking the dogs, focusing on playing with my kids, getting good sleep. Like I was stretching myself so thin. My son was going through like the molar teething and leap 10 and the 18-month sleep regression. Yay. I was getting up like 5 or 6 times at night with him, and then trying to get up at 5 a.m. to work out because that's the only time I could guarantee myself a workout, which my workouts were really starting to slack because I'm so sick of working out in my friggebod at home. I want to go back to the gym so badly. I've gone back a couple times, and each time I came home feeling so monstrously guilty because of the risk I was taking. Even though I was disinfecting before using each equipment and after, and I was wiping everything down and I was being so careful, I was going at 5 a.m. in the morning when there was like nobody else there, so I knew I wasn't gonna be breathing in other people's like, you know, breath or whatever in the circulated air. I was doing everything I could to be safe, but it felt so wrong to be in the gym. And it's crazy because like, I don't think it's as bad here in Sweden anymore as it is in places like the US, and yet on all these Instagram channels in the US I see people working out at the gym all the time. Like that's all I see is people like no masks or anything like that working out at the gym, and yeah, the virus is pretty bad out there. So I don't know, maybe I'm just being overly precautious, but it just doesn't feel right to be at the gym. So I'm just trying to stay active at home with my kids and do walking. That's all I'm doing. I'm just walking and I'm playing with my kids. I'm not lifting. I haven't lifted in forever, but I am really active in our garden, like weeding all the time, and we're still building our kids. Do I want to put my hair in a pony? I don't think I want to put my hair in a pony. We're still we're still building the kids' treehouse, and we're about to like paint and stuff with our house. So I'm staying active. And the biggest change I've done in the past couple months is I've gotten my diet under control. And I've posted a little bit of that on my Instagram. I've been eating so healthy. I've been having green smoothies for breakfast and salads for lunch. On the weekends, yeah, we've been doing pizza quite a bit, especially because the kids have been sick for the past couple weeks. So we've just been like ordering in and being a little bit lazy. But diet, for all intents and purposes, like my nutrition has been really, really good. I do recognize that I need to get back to workouts. I just have lost all my motivation. It takes so much motivation for me to work out at home. I just hate it. I hate it. I hate not having the equipment. But there is an outdoor gym at the track here in my commune. It's a log gym, so they have the basics. They have something where you can do rows and military press and weighted squats and chest press, bench press, and then of course they've got like the lat pull down bars and dips and everything like that. So My goal really is eventually, once this has resolved, to have a routine where I do 3 sets of these log exercises and then run a 5K, because it's like a track, and it's a beautiful track. It goes through the forest and there's a ton of hills and everything, so it's exciting. It's fun. But to run that 5K and let that be my workout each day. So I think I might actually do that today. Yeah. But that's where I'm at. So I'm just maintaining right now. I have nothing to share. I think in hindsight, I will have wished that I had done measurements and stuff like that now, so that I can just kind of like document where I'm going. But my plan is to get through August, and then once September hits, I think I'm gonna start going back to the gym. Hopefully come this fall, it'll be safer to go back to the gym, because I just don't know what I'm gonna do when the weather turns and it gets dark. I mean, I might just have to take one for the team and continue to work out in my home gym just to maintain. And then once next year comes, hopefully there'll be a vaccine or something like that, and we can take it from there. But I need to work out. I recognize that. I need to do more than just walking, but I have been maintaining. I have been getting some Zen back in my life. I've been focusing on nutrition and sleep and being present with my kids. It's summer break for them. But it is time for me to consider putting the pieces back together. But like I said, I haven't weighed or measured myself, but just in terms of how my clothes fit, I feel really happy with where I'm at. I think I may have gained 1 or 2 kilo, but that's not anything I'm upset with. I'm maintaining really well. And I know it'll come off eventually once I can kind of like find a routine that works. Because this year has been the antithesis of predictability and routine. Can I get an amen? Right? Like who would have ever thought this year would be as much of a gong show as it has been? As for my eye, if you guys want to see how this really looked, go to my Instagram, because I've been posting daily pictures. So on Friday afternoon, I took a walk with my kids, and my daughter went running past my son. She knocked him over into the bushes, and then she fell over, and I was mostly just worried about scraped knees, to be honest. But then my daughter was on the floor, and all of a sudden I saw her slap her head and then pause and then freak out, like scream, and was slapping at her head. And so I went running to her, and she had, in the process of falling in the bushes, gotten a honeybee tangled up in her hair. And so I'm like, oh God, because I'm allergic to bee stings. Not like throat close up allergic, but I'm allergic to them. And so I went up and I swatted at it twice, and I hit it, and it fell out of her hair and into the ground. And I remember looking down and seeing it, how I had swatted it into the bushes. And then I turned my head to my daughter and I said, "It's okay, you're fine, the bumblebee is gone." And that's when I heard the bzzz, and this mofo, you guys, came straight up into my face. It was going for the death kill. Death kill. It was trying to kill me. It went straight here. You see this puckered part is the vein into which the venom went in. So his stinger went in at an angle here, and the venom went here. So that's all like this weird, like, I don't know, you guys can see, I don't even, it's like this weird spot on my eyelid, but that's where the stinger went in. And it's funny because I remember like bee stings, they usually really, really, really hurt me, like in those first few hours. But this didn't necessarily hurt. I mean, it did sting, but I didn't remember feeling it the way I normally feel stings and stuff. So I was hoping that maybe I'd be okay, but my eye just immediately started to tear, like So here's the thing. I did feel it. I did feel it like immediately jab me. And I thought it actually had pierced into my eyeball too, because I felt like the searing pain for a second in my actual eyeball. But then once I got the bee off, that's when it was sort of like, okay, I didn't feel that continued searing pain. So I was hoping maybe I was able to just get it off without getting a stinger stuck in or much venom in. But I got my 18-month-old in this arm and my 3-year-old by the hand, and we're just running. We're just running home. It took me like 5 or 6 minutes to get home, which is an eternity when you have an actual like active bee stinger in your skin. So we go in and I look in the mirror, and sure enough, the stinger's in there and with the venom sac and everything attached. And so I was able to pull it out with a tweezer. And for that first, and then I immediately took Benadryl. So for that first day, I really was not all that swollen. I'll put a picture of what it looked like before I removed the stinger here. And I can't remember if I took a picture of it at the end of that day, but if I did take a picture, I'll put it here. But it really wasn't swollen. But when I woke up the next day, it was swollen. This is what it looked like the next morning. So this is Saturday morning. And throughout the day, it progressed and it got so swollen. So that on Sunday morning, it looked like this. In this picture, like you can see from my profile how swollen it is here. Like you can't see that I have any kind of eye crease. It's just everything was protruding. What you can't really get a feel for in these pictures is just how swollen. Oh, here, I'll put another picture here. You can see my finger is hiding behind the swelling that was like here on my cheekbone. So it was like all the way up, all the way out, and then it had a droop here and then a droop here. And I know it looks painful. It didn't hurt unless I like touched it a lot, and then it would ache and hurt and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was a mind-numbing itch. It itched so bad I was taking Velcro, like the scratchy part of Velcro, and even still, like I'll take a rough cloth because my nails don't really help, but I'll take a rough cloth or I'll just use my hand and I have to go like this because it itches so bad. Ice really helped to soothe the itch. And then I'd try to use heat to get the drainage promoted, but the heat would make it itch so much more. Oh my God, you guys, it was so bad. But I finally called an online doctor service here in Sweden. It's called Kry. And because the pressure was so much on my eye that I was starting to see stars. And I was concerned about like damaging the optic nerve. So I called them and they prescribed me cortisol and an antihistamine. So I've just been taking those as prescribed. And you can see now today's Monday morning. So from Sunday morning to this is just 24 hours difference. It's still, I mean, you can see. I think you can see. How swollen it is here. Like when I, it's so weird to talk about, but like when I walk, I feel this all jiggle. So there's like a lot of fluid pooled. There's like a pocket of fluid here. And then there's like a lot of swelling, especially here. It's quite dense. And then there's even some swelling under here. And then there's still a little bit of swelling around here. And then it's mostly almost gone to normal. You can still see a little bit of swelling here where it droops. And then of course my eyelid is my eyelid. But you can also see how red it is. Like you can see the outline of the swelling, and it's fairly red. I'm not wearing makeup right now, so this is actually what my skin tones look like. But, you know, it's getting better. The thing that's scary about all this is I've known that I've had, that I react poorly to bee stings, but I never, and I say I'm allergic to them, but I never considered it to be a version of anaphylaxis, because I thought anaphylaxis was when you needed to do like the epinephrine pen to the heart or something because your throat is swelling up and like your tongue and everything. But it turns out that if you have this sort of degree even of swelling and itching and redness and that kind of stuff. It is a symptom of mild anaphylaxis and or mild to moderate, I don't know. And I learned that even though I might only have mild to moderate anaphylactic reactions to bee stings, it doesn't mean it will always be the same with each additional sting, which really scared me because I thought, what if it got into my mouth? What if it like got me in my temple and the venom went into my brain? That could be seriously dangerous, especially if it like the next sting could be worse than this. So I got to look into getting some sort of like bee kit to keep around with me. And now I'm also freaking out thinking about my kids, because my husband, he has family members who are the closed throat type to bee stings. He's not, but it's in his family. And then of course I get this reaction. I'm the only person in my family that reacts to bee stings like this. But it really has me concerned for their welfare and well-being. So we have our second round of tick-borne encephalitis vaccine that we're going to be getting on Wednesday this week. So I'm going to talk to the doctor about possibly getting a allergy test for them to see if we can see if they're going to react poorly. And then I need to talk about what I might need to have in terms of like a venom kit on me. So if anyone here has experience with that, if you could like write me a comment down below, that would be very appreciated because I don't even know where to begin with my research. But that's that for now. You guys, I don't know when I'm going to be on next. YouTube, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing here. I'm not like the mom vlogger type of person. I'm just not. Like, our house is in such a state of construction always that I don't have a good space, a clean space, a respectable space to film, and our lives are just sort of like shambles. So I stick to Instagram, and even there I don't really know what I'm doing with my Instagram. I want to just post things that I would post on my normal Facebook, like just normal life, but somehow I don't feel like my audience, like, I don't know, like the world that I'm sharing to on my Instagram is like into that stuff. It's just boring, you know, it's just life. That's what my Facebook is for. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Like, I don't know. I have a bunch of video ideas where I just want to talk about pregnancy stuff and postpartum and tips and story time and stuff like that, but I don't know when I'll be able to film all that. So stay tuned. I mean, I will eventually be posting some sort of like reboot of my postpartum body journey thing, but it's just a weird time right now. It's a weird time. I am focusing on things that cannot be measured with a measuring tape right now, and that's all fine and dandy, but I will be getting into like workouts again soon. I just need to like get that ball rolling. So this situation, this is a situation, but once this goes down a little bit more, I'm gonna start working out again. So hopefully I'll find the energy or the will to share that some more. But stick around, I don't know, there'll be a video coming eventually. Thanks so much, you guys, for hanging out with me, and let me know if you have any bee anti-venom first aid kit ideas, okay? Thanks, bye guys.